this scandal is fairly simple for the public to understand. You've got two people who run a company with 0 other employees. They get hired by the government. They do no IT work. They subcontract the work, and they get a big cut for themselves, over $11 million on ArriveCan alone. The government chose, for some reason, to hire these two middlemen who did no IT work to then hire someone else, and they got over $11 million in the process. And so it's frustrating to hear, you're talking a lot about processes and procedures and how do we tighten the screws on all the processes. But doesn't that miss the core point that this one obviously really stinks? And why didn't government officials, why did they think it was a good idea to give over $11 million to these two guys who did no IT work in exchange for their subcontracting services? So to really get at the nub of the issue, Ms. Gorman, why do you think they were hired?
I wasn't in the agency when they were hired. My understanding is that they had a standing offer that had been competed and established through public services and procurement, and whether I'm using the proper term, a standing offer or a supply arrangement for staff enhancements that the CBSA and other departments would use.
Okay, let me jump in though. So these guys had a great thing going then. Clearly, like if Stephanie and I said, "Hey, we got an idea. We're gonna open a firm in our garage, and we're gonna get hired by the government to do work, which we're then going to get passed on to someone else, and we're going to take 15 or 30% of it." What stops any two Canadians from doing that?
I'm seized with the contracting function in CBSA, and I have outlined how I'm addressing it.
But
the questions that you raised
let's take a step back and understand how this can happen.
Other departments who might be better placed to respond to that.
Okay, but clearly these two guys weren't just any two people. Clearly they had access to someone or something that allowed them to get paid by the government to do nothing. Is that not a reasonable inference? Mr. Doan, do you have a comment on this?
Who made the decision?
Those are
You can't say your team.
those are allegations that have only come to light, to my knowledge, recently.
But it just doesn't make
on
sense, right? Would you agree that it just doesn't make sense?
What doesn't make sense? My apologies.
Well, the fact that two people were paid over $11 million to do no work and subcontract.
The CBSA worked very closely with PSPC and all the rules governed by PSPC on all of these engagements.
Yeah, but this is sort of process mumbo jumbo. Like I think people would want to know. They got paid to do nothing. Why were they hired?
I believe.
Who made the decision? Let me just ask that. Who made the decision?
I believe, as my colleague at CBSA has said, that this is currently under investigation.
So you don't know who made the decision?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, so none of you know who made the decision to hire these two guys, according to your testimony?
I can say, based on memory, that my team made the decision.
Well, who?
Who made the final decision? Who sent the email?
At this time, to my knowledge, I do not know, and it's part of the investigation that's currently underway.
Okay, so two guys got over $11 million from the government of Canada to do no work, and none of you know who made the decision to give them that contract, but you're currently investigating. I'm glad the RCMP and not just you are investigating.